currently it's Tuesday, November, and Thanksgiving is the 26th, so that would make it minus 24th. It is November 24th, 2015, probably. I am making a video for a couple reasons, one of which is that I'm trying to make up for some of the weeks I've missed. The second of which is that I am sitting in the Indy Airport and I am bored out of my mind. I also don't know if you'll be able to hear this over the things. I'm not sure how much noise there is in the background. It's pretty quiet. I'm over at a gate by myself, but you know how that background noise can be. Absorb all the interference, all the waves. Absorbing all the waves. That's very scientifically bad wording. Anyway, see you in about 6 hours, because my flight doesn't take off for another hour and a half, more than an hour and a half, and then I have to go to Charlotte for some unknown reason, and then I go to town. Today's been one of those days where last night I went to sleep at about 7 or 8, and then I got up at like 2 this morning, and then I went into the library and studied for a while before classes, and then I had a lecture, and then I had an exam, and then I had lunch, sort of, and then I had another exam, and then I went home and packed, and then I drove to the airport, and now I'm here, and I'm doing this, so it's just kind of been go, 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 but it's amazing to think when it's been since 2 o'clock this morning, and I'm still going, today's still going, and it's completely dark outside. Wow, look at that handprint in the background. Wow. Amazing what the glass can do. I'm just now noticing that. You see that? Like right there. See that handprint? So fascinating how the light... I mean, it's a good handprint, but wow. Cool. What was I saying? Been up since 2? Can you tell? Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, it's hard to imagine that. Let's see, 6, whatever. Like 10:30 this morning, I was upending chic. Although, so it's about 8 hours ago. However, it smells like it was only minutes ago. So I noticed there's a palm tree over there in front of me, where you can't see it right now, but here, I'll show you. Did you see the palm tree? If not, go back and look at it. It's there. That hardly counts as a palm tree. It's some sort of monocot tree thing. Kind of like the ones... not really, actually. It hardly qualifies as a palm tree, but it's something like that. And it made me think, that's totally not something you see in Indiana. Obviously, it's a much more tropical plant than that is dying from the cold in here. But just kind of an interesting thought. That sounded interesting in my head, however, since I've been up since 2, it's not articulating very well. Of course, things never articulate well, so that's kind of irrelevant. But anyway, the tropical tree in the not-so-tropical airport. However, it's an airport, so is it inherently tropical? Because when you think of going to far-off places, typically, in a romantic sense, that implies somewhere tropical. So, are airports inherently tropical, and is that a representation of this fact or idea? Not necessarily a fact, but representation of this idea. I don't know. What do you think? Going back to that handprint, so I don't know if you can tell before that behind me is a sheet of glass, and then out behind that is runways and airplanes and stuff. It's dark out, which is why it's highly reflective of the lights that are up there, which is mostly what you see, but the handprint is actually on the glass. I don't know if you can actually tell that or if it's totally obvious and unnecessary for me to explain, but either way, whatever. That's what that is behind me. Better than a gray wall, which is the only other background option around here. And if you flip it around, then it's just weird, because then you're facing out the window and your computer screen is facing all the people walking by, which is debatably weird, but whatever. Either way, I'm sitting here on the corner by myself with my face really close to the screen so that hopefully you can say, oh yeah, so you can hear. That reminds me, when you were...
No se permite fumar afuera del aeropuerto, en las aceras, las calles o las áreas de estacionamiento. Por favor, al no fumar nos ayuda a mantener un ambiente saludable para nuestros pasajeros y personal y visitantes. Gracias.
Okay. Anyway, earlier, it was earlier for me because I watched your video this morning at whatever time, when you were talking about projection and whatnot. I know I don't project a lot of the times. Oh, words. I don't project frequently because I am trying to not shout because I have roommates and I don't know, because sometimes I have to say the same thing more than once, because it just becomes so unscented.
The Transportation Security Administration mandates the removal of unattended baggage in the terminal and unattended vehicles at the curbs. Thank you for cooperating with this federal security requirement.
I think everybody knows that unattended bags are not good at this point. Unattended bags have been not good for a very long time. Anyway, I don't project because I don't want to shout, and I don't want to shout the same thing over and over because I have roommates, and I'm trying to appear as normal as possible. However, they've already lived with me several months and haven't. Well, I'll leave that one alone for now. Anyway, what was your last video about? It was this morning, and I can't remember, except for that you were talking. Was that this morning that you were talking about projecting, or the previous video? Maybe it was the one before. No, I know what you were talking about. You were talking about the typography in children's literature. I would be perfectly okay with you explaining more about this topic. I do think it's interesting. I don't think it's me reading the entire article myself and writing who knows what kind of paper on it or the amount of interestingness. However, if you want to explain the highlights and interesting things that you pulled out of it for me, I am interested in finding out the most interesting aspects of the paper. Or essay, book, presentation, writing thing.